Alright, so I haven't made one of these in a while, and I feel like there's going to be an announcement coming soon in the next few weeks about the progress of wins, so fuck it. I'll go ahead and make this video. Before we get started to jump into any of that, please do me a massive favor and slap a like on this video. The like goal is going to be 3. Alright, now, dude, where in the fuck is Winds of Winter? The last The Song of Ice and Fire book came out in 2011, and it's been a while. Game of Thrones has officially gone off the air, and we still don't even have a release date. That's what most people are thinking. You know, that's what most fans probably have in their head when they go to George R. Martin's Twitter and see that he's tweeted about something non-related to Winds of Winter. Here's the thing. He's a grown-ass man. He can do whatever the fuck he wants to, and in this video I'm going to list 3 reasons or 3 things that I think are important to take into consideration when looking for a release date for Winds of Winter. Now, the first thing being, the main one, is that George R. Martin is no longer the young strapping lad he once was. He's getting older, and he's mentioned several times in his Not a Blog that his writing speed has slowed down dramatically. That means that it's going to take him longer to put out books that he would have gotten out a lot quicker. Another thing to take into consideration, which sort of ties into his writing speed slowing down and that he's getting older, is that he's expanding his universe beyond the books. He's making TV shows. I potentially think there's a Game of Thrones movie, but also he's expanding his writing credits. He's working on completely unrelated TV shows. So that all of that obviously means that Winds is going to take longer. I think, in my opinion at least, like obviously I'm a super book fan, and I'm sure that a lot of people, a large percentage of the Song of Ice and Fire fans heard about the books first. They've been out since the fucking 90s. These books have been out since I was 5 years old. So obviously there's a large subsect of the audience that found out about, this universe through the books. But let's be honest. What made this universe a worldwide phenomena, and like everybody's still fucking talking about it 2 years after it goes off the air, is the TV show. George knows that. So maybe if he wants to grow his audience, grow his universe, become more like his idol, J.R.R. Tolkien, he realizes that in this day and age, you actually need to transfer your work to a new medium, that being film and television. Whereas before, he was sort of shit on in his TV experience when he was, coming up in the 70s, when he worked on several different TV shows. He was sort of done with Hollywood by the time he wrote the first A Song of Ice and Fire novel. So he intentionally made those books non-adaptable. Now, obviously, times change and people change. So I think one of the biggest reasons why Winds is taking so long is that George has got he's got his hands in multiple pots, so to speak, and he wants to give us, the best cinematic universe possible, and also the best book universe possible. Those things take time, and that sort of brings me into my next sort of thing. Since we're talking about a cinematic universe, Game of Thrones season 8. Whether you hate it, it ruined your viewing experience, or whatever the fuck your opinion is. I personally obviously disagree with several moments in Season 8, but do I think it ruins the series' rewatchability as a whole? Well, no. Just ask my son. We watch it every fucking night. I've probably watched Thrones more times since it ended than before when I was making videos in between seasons and all that shit. But maybe, and this is all leading me to my next point, maybe George's ending, obviously not for Winds, but for A Dream of Spring, is similar to what happened in Game of Thrones Season 8. Maybe all the years of Dan and Dave doing interviews, telling everyone, hey, excuse me, I had to clear my throat. All the years of Dan and Dave telling everybody in these fucking interviews, like, hey, man, George gave us these notes. He didn't tell us exactly how he's going to get there, but he did tell us where, for the most part, most of the major characters who are still alive are going to be. So maybe Sansa will be queen in the north. Maybe Bran will be, king of Westeros. Maybe Jon Snow will be forced to go north of the wall once he's resurrected. Maybe those are the things that will happen. Maybe Daenerys will die in King's Landing. Maybe Jon Snow's the one to do it, and that's why he gets banished north of the wall. Maybe George's journey to get to those points make a lot more fucking sense than a rushed final season of Game of Thrones. I think the biggest flaw with Season 8 is that they forced it into 6 episodes. It should have been 13 episodes, Besides that, maybe the blowback or, all of the hate from season 8 has made George hesitant to release, Winds, because eventually Dream is going to come out. And maybe if everyone reads Winds, they can tell that, hey, that's where the story's going. George's books aren't quite like that. There's a million mysteries, and he literally designs them to distract you from the main plot. But maybe that's made him not want to release his ending. I don't know. That this point, I think, in this video that I'm making right now is probably my weakest point. Obviously, George doesn't give a shit what some of his fans think about some of his writing choices. So I think that's like the weakest point that I make. But the last one that I want to make for this video, and this will wrap it up, is that maybe Winds is already done. Maybe George is working on a Dream, and maybe the only reason why we haven't gotten a release date yet is because House of the Dragon is coming out. Now, obviously, House of the Dragon is unrelated to Winds of Winter, but they're in the same universe. Winds of Winter takes place a few hundred years after House of the Dragon. But if you're having the next book come out in a Song of Ice and Fire series, one that people have been waiting 10 years for, well, it fucking makes sense that if you're almost finishing it, to release it when a new show comes out. Maybe the two things coming out the same year, like in 2022, will just be the ultimate, sort of like rebuilding the confidence in some of the fans lost from season 8. Maybe they plan on just making 2022 an insane fucking year. And the last couple of months of this year, when we start getting, confirmed more actors and actresses doing interview, more pictures, more battle sequences being filmed, maybe towards the end of the year, that's when everything will sort of ramp up. And it'll become more prevalent that George will release not a blog post saying that he's nearing completion of Winds. I don't know. I've rambled for 6 minutes. If you all enjoyed this, please slap a like on it. I'm going to get the fuck out of here. My name's Mark, and this has been Sir Hunt's Reviews. Nah.